Ayo, Jay. Ayo, Jay.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stretch, shield my greed. That's how I get it, success ain't no given. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect, let them watch me. Elevating, got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house and whoo. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Woo. Watch how I set it up, bet you I shut it down, watch how I get a win. I don't think they really wanna come against the winner, got a finger run up in on a grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you compare. I'm a line, but the winner about the cage. I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
Ayo, Jay. Can we get some ratchet one time?
Hey, okay, let it be known. I'm working hard when I ain't on the phone. This ain't a home, this ain't a phone. Grind never stopping, I'm keeping it cold. Unlocking the door with the holy key. You supposed to be this close to me, and hopefully you understand G.O.D. Maybe this cold and I'm talking like no degrees. This ain't a fluke, I seen it way before it ever happened. He gave me the view. I had to put in my time on the TV, it coming in soon. I couldn't leave it all up to a variant or an experience. You gotta get up and do what it do. So complicated, homie, it's you. Always gonna wait until you in the mood. I've been running, came out gunning, stopped the fronting on your word. It's what you hear, not what you heard. I'ma hate on every verb. I'ma show you what it's worth. Every day I'm on the earth till they put me in the dirt. I'ma get into it first. Said I'ma get into it first. Until they put me in the dirt. Said I'ma get into it first. Said I'ma get into it. I can't break, that's the thing about me. I won't put these goals on freeze. I can't break, that's the thing about me. I won't put these goals on freeze. You cannot stop me, I mean this spinach and broccoli. Termination like I'm Rocky, lift the heavy, no spot please. Body back a beating and I get away scotch-free. And I'ma take control, unbreakable. I sense the face, the shakes is cold, the grace is more. Plus it's really the motivation, so it's thank you so. Point that's on my neck, hard work on my break. The easy road taking the left, it's on my chest. No time for regrets, faith in the Jimmy like Steph. Shooting is wet like clay, the party ain't maybe this way. I'm taking all of this life to the bank. I'ma deposit and see what it make. Shoot is shooting, so it's reap. I pay the meter, I came in with Peter like Peter on water. I'm stepping in deeper, they know that I'm coming like follow the leader. I'm taking a chance today. Standing inside of the kitchen, I turn on the heater. I'm here to turn on my brothers and sisters and cousins and mothers until my believers get into it first. Said I'ma get into it first. Until they put me in the dirt. Said I'ma get into it first. Said I'ma get into it. I can't break, that's the thing about me. I won't put these goals on freeze. I can't break, that's the thing about me. I won't put these goals on freeze.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. And guys, we got a little bit to look at here on Bitcoin. We did confirm some potential bearish signs on some higher time frames that could be indicating some further downside here for Bitcoin. But are we going to get the drop as we've simply been consolidating for about the past 10 days or so? Are we going to get this move to the upside? Are we going to get a dump to the downside? One thing is for sure, the daily time frame does look like it wants to see some more downside. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't get a little bit of a local bounce before that happens, but we're going to be taking a look at some of those bearish signs that are popping up, why I do think a bigger downtrend may be in store, and we're also going to be taking a look at those volume profiles, not just the main range that we're looking at, but also some of those smaller ranges to try to figure out if we do get a move up, what level do we have to get above in order to get a break of the yearly highs, potentially bringing us up to our next major level, which we're going to be taking a look at in just a second. But don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Hang on. I don't have chat up right now. Let me pull it up over here. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. Go ahead and smash that like button, guys. Every 100 likes we get, you guys get a spin on the Wheel of Pain and Pleasure on Friday, where we will be giving away some free crypto. And if we get 550 likes on tonight's stream, we will add 3 Frankie Candles hats to that giveaway, and they might even be the limited edition colors, guys. So smash out those smash up that like button, and let's go ahead and I don't want to spend too much time here on the face camera, but let's go ahead and say what is up to the Candle Mafia in the chat. We got Leroy Essel in the chat. We got Jessica, our female Candle Mafia representative, in the chat. What is going on? We got Daddy's Home. We got Skywalker. We got Crypto Billy, Rob the Crypto Snob, Chemistry Bro, D Petty Crypto, Crypto Anon. Did I say Rob the Crypto Snob? Tyler Durden. You guys know who the mods are. Show them some love in the chat. They help me out endlessly with this YouTube channel. I'm forever indebted to them. So show them some love in the chat. And then make them happy. Shout out to the mods. But who else we got in here? We got Johnny Two Pockets in the chat. What is going on, bro? Good to see you. We got Jimmy O.D. Said, I'm getting premium today. Sick of losing trades. Shout out to Jimmy O.D. And to be quite honest, guys, like the price action has been kind of sideways. Hopefully we can get some movement. And shout out to Jimmy O.D. Looking forward to seeing you in the kitchen, bro. Thank you for giving us a try over there. We got Sean Nolan in the chat. Said, hey, 31K. Guys, we are going to be taking taking a look at an indicator that is pointing to some pretty decent confluence at some of those lower levels, because if we are indeed going to see these higher time frame bearish confirmations play out to the downside, there are some key levels below us that we are going to be looking at, and there is a pretty popular indicator looking for some support, giving us confluence at some other levels we're already looking at. So we're going to be taking a look at that today as well. We got, let's see, we got Gavin in the chat. Let's see. We got Steven Adwell. What is going on, bro? Thank you for being here. We got Jonathan Derby in the chat. Said, Golden, the force is strong with this one. Shout out to Jonathan Derby. Shout out to Golden. We got Ian in the chat. We got Boots checking in. We got Drew. Said, Lux Algo Frankie Candles indicator, question mark. Drew, sounds like you're asking if it's a thing. Go ahead and search Frankie Candles on your in the indicator section on TradingView, and you will see it pop up. Got a lot of good feedback on this indicator, guys. So without further ado, guys, we got Dave Digital in the chat ripping that turtle power, which I don't even know what that means, but shout out to Dave Digital. Welcome in, bro. Now we can start the show because Dave Digital and Donato Cabrera are now here, guys. So let's go ahead and without further ado, let's go ahead and see if we can figure out what this thing Bitcoin wants to do next. Let's get into it. So, guys, here we are. Let's see. Frankie Cater. Shout out to Wayne C. And shout out to Dave. I like turtles. Let's see. Turtle is an indicator / trading style. Shout out to Turtle. But let's go ahead and continue on here. Shout out to Brian, says, hola, hola, hola. Shout out to Brian. What is going on, bro? Rob the Crypto Sense said, I'm a turtle. And then, shout out to... Trader Geo says, at Dave Digital, this man mods literally everyone except me. Shout out to Dave Digital. Dave Digital is our most unofficial mod of the YouTube channel. But guys, let's go ahead and jump on in here to the charts and figure out what we got going on. And basically what I want to do here, guys, dare I say it, we are in the same position for the most part that we were all last week. Basically, guys, we have been sitting here, haven't really been seeing anything too exciting happen on Bitcoin. I mean, realistically, it's been about a week of just completely sideways action, or full 7 days. Well, all last week we were basically going sideways. I am still in my long position from down here at about $39,900 something, just about almost $40,000. Still long from below the volume profile. We have not hit our value area high of the range, which could still be in the cards here. And we're going to talk about why I think that may be possible. But on top of that, or just kind of what I'm kind of trying to explain here is all the way since we broke above this I would say like really nothing too exciting happening here. Like even all the way from back here, we got to move up to the Bybit POC, and then we just kind of started wiggling around sideways. So, kind of lackluster, boring trading here on Bitcoin for the most part. Like I said, I have not really been too interested. We were talking about this a little bit last week. Just like really lackluster stuff on Bitcoin here. I am not really too interested in a lot of these scalp trades, taking very few scalps and really just waiting for these bigger, higher time frame and stronger levels to get hit. And my long position from down here is, again, just because things are not really that clear in this area of consolidation, just simply holding this trade and waiting for bigger levels to get hit, whether that is to the upside or more locally to the upside, which is going to be right here. You guys should be familiar with these levels because we've been looking at them all week or all of last week. Shout out to Dave Digital. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, my birthday is on the 10th. Check wish list. Shout out to Dave. Hey, Dave. I wanted to say Santa Claus, but that's not how birthdays work. Shout out to Dave. Let your boy know what you want for your birthday, Dave. Maybe I can come by and maybe we could party together for your birthday, Dave. That would be absolutely, that would be amazing. But shout out to Dave Digital. Thank you for the super chat. Don't be giving me gifts on your birthday, bro, even though it's in 10 days. By the way, also, Rob the Crypto Snob, his birthday is coming up as well. I know you guys wish him a happy birthday every single day in the chat, but he is now going to have a real birthday. So shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. But let's go ahead and continue on here. Like I said, not too interested in the scalps up here, so I am still holding my long from down here, waiting for some very key, more key levels to get hit. But the question is, guys, what is my plan here for Bitcoin moving into this week? And the answer to that, which I hate saying, is the same as it was last week, right? I am still waiting for bigger levels to get hit. And in my opinion, the more significant levels are, and we're going to talk about this kind of zone up here because there are kind of a few different levels above that I would be looking at. Now, the situation remains the same, right? If we get above this value area high, I will be looking for scalp short positions at that value area high. We also have a couple of different levels into here. We have a weekly level sitting just below this POC, which could be, or I'm sorry, just above these highs, I believe is the weekly. Do I have it marked out on this chart? Let me see. Yeah, there we go, right? We have this weekly level sitting at about $43,793. So we may want to come up and tap these levels, and there's actually even more reason to potentially look for a move into this zone before looking for a potential scalp short. Now, I will be clear here, guys. If I am going to take a short here, it will be a scalp, right? Or I will be, for the most part, looking for a scalp position here, not a big giant trade expecting this to come back down to zero. I will simply be looking for scalps because, in my opinion, the saucier levels to look for shorts at are going to be this golden pocket sitting at about $45,000, as well as this naked point of control, which is not only a volume point of control, but also a time point of control. It's a daily, a weekly. We have a lot of confluence at that $46,000 level, on top of the fact that $46,000 is simply just a psychological level of resistance, right? So going to be watching these levels very, very closely for my next short position, while also looking for scalps up in this zone right here, closer to the weekly. Now, another reason why I do think we could potentially get a push up to this value area high is there's kind of a few reasons, right? We've gotten above that value area low, we've gotten to that POC, and now we are working our way up to potentially and eventually get up to that value area high. Now, although it is not guaranteed just because we're above the value area low that we'll get to the value area high, however, it could still be a likely target that is on the table. And if we actually pull up our liquidation heat map, you guys will know, if I can find the liquidation heat map, where did it go? I may have to pull it up, a fresh one. But one thing that we do understand, or we have to understand here, guys, is we actually do have some liquidation sitting just above these highs, making that value area high even more of a potential target, right? So if I pull up this, if I pull up this liquidation heat map, you can see, let's come down to a lower time frame here. Let's go take a look at the 1 month. And we will zoom in right here. Now, you guys can see here, right up at this level at about 44,000. It does come up to about 44.5, but just above these swing highs right here at about 44K, we do actually have a significant area of liquidation sitting here, which could, right, what do we always say about the liquidity, guys? It acts as a magnet for price. This is oftentimes what gives me the idea of price going to a specific area. If we have a significant area of if we have like significant chunks of liquidity in a certain area, this will act as a magnet for price. So with that being said, now we can see this on the chart. We know that that $44,000 level sits right up in here in this purple box. Now, what this is making me look for is we know that if we do come back up here and we start to hit that 44K level, we may get a little bit of a liquidation wick just above the range, which is going to be where we would be looking for shorts anyway, because if we're trading the volume profiles, we are simply looking for longs at the lows and shorts at the highs. And we're going to come into this area of consolidation. We're going to dive into this a little bit, guys, because we're in a little bit of a predicament here, right? And if we come up to a higher time frame, let me go ahead and kind of talk about what I'm mentioning here, right? So let me go ahead and hide this. Let me go here. Bada boom, bada bing, right? So if we're looking here on the daily time frame, we cannot ignore, right? We cannot ignore that this daily on Market Cypher B actually looks pretty bearish, right? We looked at this all last week. Not only is the money flow coming out, not only is your momentum wave consistently stair-stepping its way down, we also have somewhat of an anchor and a trigger wave here, with our anchor wave coming above that positive 60 line, letting us know that this is somewhat of an overbought momentum wave. And then as we get this little trigger wave here, it's not the most aggressive trigger wave. Typically, the tighter to the zero line that trigger wave is, the more aggressive the dump is. But you can see, we somewhat of a trigger wave, right? So if your anchor, your trigger, sometimes you get these to give you big moves to the downside. But really the concern here, guys, in my opinion, is more the fact that we have the bearish divergence into the key level of resistance, which obviously is the golden pocket. And then you also have your money flow coming out. This is bearish, guys. Now, I am just the guy here coming to you, bringing you the information that we're seeing on the charts, and I'm bringing it to your attention so you can be better prepared to make money whether price pumps or dumps. But one thing I will say here is this daily chart looks bearish. I am sorry. But it does not mean that we cannot break to the upside, but this is definitely a bearish daily chart, which is making me potentially lean a little bit more greedy with the shorts and a little bit more conservative with the longs, right? And basically what we are expecting here, if that money flow, and it is finally crossing over into the red, right? Bearish signs appear. It is not for no reason. It is this money flow crossover into the red on the daily as well as the confirmed red dot. So you guys know we've been looking at this signal for quite some time. And if it's not going to play out, this fake out is likely going to happen soon if it's going to be a fake out. But based off of the way the charts look right now, just solely off the information that I'm seeing on TradingView, this is a bearish signal and would make us anticipate a lower high to come in here in the macro before coming down and dumping to lower prices, which we have some very specific targets below, which you guys know kind of the lowest I'm willing to look as of right now. We're actually going to look a little lower than this in just a second if the dump really starts to come in. Yo, super pickles, bro. What is going on with the random turtles and pickles? I don't know what's going on, but shout out to whoever's spamming the pickles. Is super pickles like a meme coin? I don't know. But if we are going to see this lackluster move turn into a bigger dump to the downside, I want to talk about the lower targets. But all in all, guys, based off this daily, we have to be open to the idea of more potential downside coming. But if we get really what I would prefer to happen here is pretty clear, and I know I've been talking about it for quite some time, but let's go over it just one more time because it's kind of important, right? Because there are reasons to potentially get a little bit of a move to the upside. And again, not only does it have to do with that liquidity sitting above these highs here, sitting around 44K, but if we actually pull up our visible range volume profile, or not visible range, our fixed range volume profile, again, I would love to see this range completed, right, to the value area high. More often than not, and it's not 100% of the time, but if you hold support on the value area low, the next likely place for price to go is going to be to eventually visit that value area high. We see this happen time and time again. Now, it doesn't guarantee it, but again, number one, we haven't hit the value area high. That could still potentially be a target. We also have the untapped weekly level as well as the liquidity sitting within this purple box, making it not only a point of interest, but also an area to look for a potential short. Now, if we are able to break out and deviate from this value area high, I am still looking for shorts. I am not seeing the breakout of this value area as a breakout. And I'm not going to be like, oh my God, long it, FOMO long, we're breaking out, we're going to 100K. That is not what I'm thinking. What I am more thinking is, hey, the daily looks very bearish, right? The 4-hour money flow on Market Cypher B is cruising to the downside, looking to cross over into the red probably tonight, if not tomorrow. So the 4-hour money flow is also indicating some potential downside. And as you guys know, the money flow indicates the longer-term trend. So if we are going to see a downtrend come in here, the money flow on the 4-hour and that daily are going to be the signals and kind of the bearish signs that we look back to and say, well, hey, the daily looked pretty bearish, and that 4-hour money flow looks pretty bad as well, so not too much of a shock to see the move down. However, if we get another push up, for the reasons I just mentioned, and we deviate, again, if we don't get the short from this purple box and we deviate above the volume profile, the real levels that I'm going to be looking at are going to be the golden pocket and then the $46,000 naked point of control. Now, this is, I've been talking to the premium Discord as we look for the specific trade setups to take here, and this is a pretty big range of resistance, guys, right? I hate when we have this big of a range of resistance because it makes it kind of difficult to trade, right? Because we don't know if we're going to maybe reject from here. We don't know if we're going to come up to the value area high and reject. We don't know if we're going to break out of the value area high, deviate, get some bearish confirmations, and then get the bigger move down. We don't know what we're going to reject here, but these are definitely going to be the key levels I am looking for shorts at. It is the golden pocket between $45,400 and $45,000 even, and then above that, we also have the naked point of control at $46,000. This is the saucier level in my opinion, but it's going to be tricky. Not only do we have a wide range of resistance here, but I'll show you guys kind of how I'm trying to approach this, right? Because again, like we can't just this is a big range, right? Because if you're looking for a short at the golden pocket and then you start pushing up above the golden pocket, you're like, okay, where do I stop out here, right? And then in this case, if you're short here, where does your stop loss have to be? Right? Well, basically, what people would typically do, right, what retail would do, is they would look for the short here, and then their stop loss is going to go above a previous high, which in my opinion is kind of like this high right here, unless you went above one of these local retracement highs, your stop loss would have to be all the way up here. So that's not a very like good risk to reward ratio, even if you were looking to come down much lower. So the way I'm kind of handling this, guys, let me go ahead and actually hide these levels real quick, and I'll show you how I'm trying to break this down, right? So let's go down to a lower time frame, and what I'm going to do is simply pull this volume profile on this previous area of consolidation, because as you guys know, when the markets look blurry, when you can't tell what is likely to happen next, use the volume profiles to get your footing and figure out where price is likely to go next. So now you can see here, not only do we have the golden pocket, the naked points of control and the 786, but you basically have this whole kind of volume profile range. So this is another way that we can approach this potential short, right? And let me actually change this to neutral just to clean it up. And then we will go value area high, POC, and your value area low. So this is going to be pretty important, right? And let me actually hide the other levels just so we don't get super confused. I'm going to get rid of the golden pocket, and we'll just look at the volume profile. So you have to understand, there is confluence with the golden pocket, your value area low, right? So 45K to about 45,466 is your nice confluence on the value area low and golden pocket, right? So that is going to be a big level to watch. Again, if we deviate, I'm going to be looking for potential confirmations into this level of resistance before a potential move back down. And again, if we're looking for price to put in a macro lower high, guys, where is that lower high likely to come in? Well, we know that it's likely to come in at a golden pocket or 786 retracement, or somewhere between these two levels where we have that $46,000 naked point of control and the point of control of this range sitting just between these levels. So that's going to be the first kind of area that I'm looking at for the short. Now, this is kind of where things get a little bit tricky. If we get above this golden pocket, we haven't even made it at that point to our naked points of control. This is the sauciest level, in my opinion. The $46,000 volume point of control, time point of control, as well as the $46,000 psychological level. Now, this is where things get tricky, because if we get above this level, right, and we hop above that golden pocket, once you start flipping this value area low to support, technically, from a volume profile perspective, you are going to be looking for price to continue to the POC and then potentially the value area high. So this is kind of hard, because if you don't get clear confirmations to short into the golden pocket and you break up to this level, you can still look for the short at 46K, which I will be doing. But I am looking at this like a hawk, right? So if we hit that 46K, I'm looking at order flow. I'm looking at a million different things to confirm my trades. But if you don't have as much experience, or you might not be looking at order flow or something that can clearly indicate if there's a safe short to take, this is going to be a hard range to short, because once you're above that value area low, it kind of opens the door to about 47K. And then at that point, you have to start worrying about potentially breaking the yearly highs, which is obviously you're not going to want to be taking a short here if you're expecting to stay above the value area low and go for the highs. So definitely a tricky trade to be taken here. And I'll be honest, I don't even typically trade like this, but if we do get that move, see, this is the thing. I am prepared in either scenario, right? Because if we hit this value area high, I'm going to be taking profits on my long, and if we hop above that value area low, I will still be holding a small part of this trade in case we break out, right? So most of my profits are locked in, but I'm still holding a moon bag. So if we do hold support on top of these levels, I will simply stop out of my shorts for a very small loss as my long from down here continues to play out. So I'm prepared in either scenario. But I just want to kind of talk about like the significance of how tricky this short might be to take. Because in my opinion, there's many levels to look at the short for. Really, like number one level in my opinion, or I should say like the two major levels, obviously the golden pocket value area low, and then the next level after that is the naked points of control. But I would have to have some seriously clear confirmations at this level to take the short, because at that point you are above this volume profile, which again opens up the door to higher prices. So I would have to have some seriously clear confirmations at this level to take that short. But unfortunately, guys, sometimes we just get to this point in the market where you just have a tough trade setup. But these are definitely the key levels to look at. 45,000 to 46,000 is kind of that major zone to be looking to short. In my opinion, really the invalidation for the short, in my opinion, is going to be flipping that $46,000 NPOC before seeing the high of the range. However, you just have to understand, once you flip that value area low, this is technically like there's people that once you flip that value area low, they're not going to short, right? Because you're within the volume profile. I will still be looking for the short, but it is going to be risky, right? Because of what we just talked about with the volume profiles. So keep that in mind. And then when in doubt, again, like if I was not in a long trade, you could potentially, right? If I was not in the long from down here, from lower, I am also still holding my long. By the way, for anyone curious, I am still also holding my long from down here. If we wind up getting that move up here and I was not in a long position, to be quite honest with you, I would look for a long setup within here, which maybe we could take a look at in a second. But you might want to wait for the reclaim of the value area low, right? Because once you get above that value area low and you flip it to support, that's where you're expecting to fill the whole range. But again, context is key here. The daily looks horrible, guys. I'm sorry. This is, maybe it doesn't play out. Maybe we get faked out, which we look at all the time, right? If we come back into the past, when you're in parabolic, when you're in really bullish markets, a lot of times you will fake out your money flow to the red before coming back up into the green. So we have to keep that in mind. But there is no arguing that at face value, looking at this daily, especially on Market Cipher B, and not just on Market Cipher B, but just looking at this daily in general, this is a Bailey chart. This is a bearish chart, right? Money flow coming out, bearish divergences confirmed into an extremely key level of resistance that we hit on the release of extremely bullish news, right? We've seen macro tops be put in very similar situations. Here, both had big news events. Both were macro tops. Over here, we also had bullish news into the macro golden pocket, which is literally, we show this almost every day. The rejection of this golden pocket, this macro golden pocket right here, is almost the exact same situation that we are running into right now, right? So you have your macro golden pocket, you run up, you get the rejection, you come back down, right? And we had a very, very, very similar situation here where you actually did wind up putting bearish divergences into the key level of resistance, which again is that golden pocket, just like we have right here, right? These almost exact same scenario. Completely different times in the market, though. I want to be clear. Just because this has happened back in the past does not mean that it's going to happen right now. But you have to look at this and think to yourself, well, hey, you had the bear div, right? Lower highs on your momentum waves, higher highs on your price action. Money flow coming out, crosses over into the red, and you get a little bit of a pullback, right? And then you obviously have the black swan here. I don't expect anything like that unless we get a black swan, which, if you watch the news or you've seen the news lately, is not impossible, guys. The black swans, not too long ago, we were thinking, like, what would the black swan even be? And now I feel like the black swan could be a million different things, right? It almost seems likely to get a black swan at this point. So, not guaranteeing it, but very similar situation. And what happened? We got the cool off, right? Money flow came back into the red on the daily. We cooled off one last time, black swan, and then halving happens off into the next bull run. So are we going to see something similar happen here? We totally could, but understanding that a fake out may be able to occur here, but based off not even just money flow, not just market cipher, but also the idea that we have basically rejected major resistance on major bullish news. We've also had a bearish change of character here, which lines up with the money flow crossing over into the red, which would make a lower high. That's what makes me want to search for a lower high and a potential short to come in. And we showed this many times on the Lux Algo indicators, where basically you have the bearish change of character, right? Your smart trail has turned bearish, turning it into resistance. And oftentimes when you flip trends like this, right, we've been bullish for quite some time here, right? And just like right here, you get a bullish change of character, your candles turn green, you retest the smart trail, and then it's off to the races to the upside. Flip that upside down. You have a bearish change of character, your candles turn purple, and you come up to test that smart trail. If we start coming into this level, this is what, this also adds to the resistance that we're already seeing up here based off the Fibonacci levels, the volume profiles, and the naked points of control. The Lux Algo smart trail is flying right through there as well, making this a potential short opportunity, again, sitting between the golden pocket and the 786 with the naked points of control right in the middle. So there are many things pointing to the downside here. The only real way I could see us just absolutely ripping back to the upside would be if that money flow fakes us out. And if we were to see that, I want to talk about that situation and what it would look like. Because if we go back to Market Cipher really quickly and we come up to the weekly time frame, guys, we cannot forget, if you come to the buy bit chart and we take a look at that buy bit value area right here, right? Simply put, on the weekly time frame, you can see we have the VWAP coming to the upside. So this is daily is bearish. The daily is making me search for a short, right? So I am more bearish leaning in the medium to long term because of the way the money flow looks, right? And the bearish divergence, everything we just went over. But if we're going to get that money flow fake out on the daily, and that daily is not good, the technicals are not going to play out on the daily, and we're going to get a fake out to the upside, and we're going to break the yearly high, this is what I'm looking for. The weekly VWAP is on the way to the upside. If we cross over that zero line, print a green dot, this, in my opinion, whether we get this green dot and confirm it, is going to be kind of the signal to potentially break the highs and come into our next key levels of resistance, which are sitting right here at about 50,776, where we have this weekly level of resistance. I believe we also have naked points of control up here. And then finally, we have to remember that we have the buy bit value area high sitting at about $54,550, which could be that not final target, but could be the next target to the upside, because, you know, we also can't forget this is a bullish trend, right? And the trend is your friend until the end. And Market Cypher right now is saying, hey, that trend is likely to end, but we cannot just put 100% trust into an indicator, right? No matter what it is. Money flow very rarely lies. Money flow is absolutely goated. You guys know this. It's a big part of our analysis, but it does not mean that we can't be prepared if we get a fake out, right? Because nobody knows where this market's going. Even if all the indicators are screaming down, even if all the TA is screaming down, we can still break out, right? Nobody knows what they're doing. Not nobody. People know what they're doing. Nobody knows exactly what is going to happen for 100% certain, right? So you have to keep that in mind. But these are the next targets to the upside. And remember, this weekly green dot is going to be something I'm watching very, very closely to potentially look for the break of that yearly high. But overall, just looking at the charts here, I think it is probably, based off the chart, it is much more likely to put in a lower high and then continue that trend to the downside, where our next level of support, simply put, guys, if you watch the show, you're going to be very familiar with these levels. The next levels of support that I will personally be looking at is going to be at the value area low of this range, sitting at 37,000, almost 37.7, where not only we have the value area low, but we also have naked points of control sitting at 37.7. I actually don't have exo charts open, otherwise I'd show them. But we have a naked, high time frame naked points of control down here at that value area low in pretty close confluence. So in my opinion, whether we come down from here or come up into this next little short zone before putting the lower high in and coming lower, the next major target once we break this low is going to be that $37,700 level. Between $37,700 and $37,000 even is that next zone of support below us. Let's see here. Let's see. Monthly, yeah, you have a monthly naked point of control just below here as well. So very big level of support to look at, because we're not, although we may be looking for a lower low to come in, we are not looking to short this thing down to zero at support, right? So like down here, chances are if we come up, right, whether we come up or not, when we get the dump down, it's not just going to be a straight shot to, you know, some of the more bearish predictions that we could potentially look at if things get ugly. But, you know, we are likely to get some kind of a bounce at these levels. So we could look for scalp longs at the value area low, because, again, deviate from the high. You look to go back down towards the POC, and what happened? Right back down towards that POC. You get the bounce off the POC. Once you reject the high, you would be looking to go back to the POC and back to the low. So simply put, if I had a GUN to my head and they said, what do you think is going to happen? You have to predict price action exactly as it's going to happen. I would simply say, based off the daily time frame, I would look for either a rejection from here and then potentially coming down to lower prices, or I would look for a push up here and then a rejection. This is more likely, in my opinion, what we're going to see happen. There's no way to predict it exactly, but based off the daily, this is probably what we're going to be looking for, right? And then as we come down, we know the next key level of support below is $37,700 and $37,000 even. Below that, what we have to do is take off this value area, hide all the local TA, right? And then we'll get rid of this volume profile, and we will just simply pull up the macro volume profile. And that next key level to the downside is going to be the point of control at $34,400. Not only is there a point of control at $34,400, but also we know, based off a heat map, that we have a lot of liquidity sitting down at that $34,400 mark, and you can see it all down here, between about $35,200 all the way down to about $33,200. Big area of liquidity, and remember, this oftentimes acts as a magnet for price. So if it's an if this, trading is an if this, then that statement, guys. if the daily is right and we are looking for that reversal to the downside, for the lower high to come in, the next major targets are going to be 37.7, 37K, and 34.4 for all the reasons we just mentioned. Now, what if we had even more confluence on this POC level? Well, if we pull up our moving averages, let's see. Pull up a simple moving average, and let's look at the 50, see where that is lining up. Or I'm sorry, let's look at the 200. Bada boom. Look at the 200-day moving average, guys. 200-day moving average is sitting right at that POC. Now, obviously, this is going to trend up and down. It's going to move around with price, but just giving you even more confluence. You have the liquidity sitting down here. You have the point of control of the range, which as you reject the high, the next likely place for price to go is the POC, right? Just based off the volume profile. Reject the high, go to the POC. Liquidity sitting all down there. Massive amount of liquidity. You can see it right here, right? On top of that, you have the 200-day moving average. And on top of that, you have the money flow coming out with all the bearish signals, marking this as a potential macro top. That would be the likely trend and the likely scenario that I would see playing out. So there you go, guys. That is basically everything I'm looking at on Bitcoin. I know it's a lot of the same stuff that we looked at recently, other than the 200-day moving average, which is very, very interesting here, like that beautiful, beautiful confluence. And again, I'm not expecting this thing to just nuke down here. Like I said, you have to remember we do have some other local support, right? Like it's not just going to be, lower high nuke, right? It's probably going to be like, if we do get it, it's going to be like lower high, come back in here, bing bong. It's going to be boring and confusing, and then you're probably going to get a decent bounce at the value area low, and then eventually you'll come back down. We don't know what the road is going to look like, but this is, in hindsight, likely, in my opinion, based off the charts, is very likely to be the next step, right? And then again, if we break out, you guys now have a plan, and the next key levels of resistance above that you need to be keeping your eyes on. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, if Bitcoin dumps, what is Ethereum going to do? What are the altcoins going to do? And if you guys have been watching the live stream or the channel, if you guys saw our Chainlink update a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about this bullish consolidation down here, potentially opening up the door to break this value area low, which is the doorway to higher prices, right? And this could potentially be opening up the door to see a $22 Chainlink, right? And I'm going to come back to Chainlink in a second, but I just want to talk about this. Chainlink's daily looks very similar to Bitcoin's. You have the bearish divergences, you have the money flow coming out, so we have to be careful here. However, coming up, you do have the green dot confirmed on the weekly, right? So that could give you a little bit of upward pressure. So kind of mixed signals on the altcoins, right? Because the daily looks very similar to Bitcoin, but Chainlink is simply doing exactly what we were looking for it to do: break above that value area low, opening up the door to potentially fill the rest of this range, coming up to the POC at $27, as well as the value area high at $31. This is, as long as we hold above this value area low, sitting at about $17. If we sit above this level and we do not break this level, guys, that is likely going to be, the doorway is still open to higher prices, right? It's not until we lose this value area low that I will be looking for lower prices on Chainlink. So just seeing this play out almost exactly as we wanted it to. You guys can, obviously, first target was here, second target was here, and now we are flipping this target to support. But again, just got to be careful with that daily. And you are printing bearish divergences on the 4-hour, which is pretty interesting here. To confirm in about 35 minutes. Shout out to Adil. Thank you for that super chat, bro. I do appreciate you, bro. He says, Frankie, please check. The 4 flies moving average exponential ribbon. Hang on. Let me see if I can find this. Let's see. Let's take a look at it on Bitcoin. The 4 flies. Interesting. I guess this is it. Interesting. Shout out to Adil. Thank you for pointing this out. I guess this is just like an EMA ribbon. But yeah, interesting. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, let's go to the daily and see what this thing says. Actually, you know what I want to take a look at, guys? Let's take a look real quick at Market Cipher A. And I want to show the EMA ribbon on Market Cipher A, right? Because you guys will remember, if you take a look at the, I got to turn all these back on. Bear with me. because this EMA ribbon on Market Cipher A is very, very, yeah, this is interesting, right? Because if you look at this, and actually, and let me just hide the actual TA, and let's zoom out here, right? Typically, when this lights up, guys, you can see how it's kind of unlit, and then when you're in a bullish trend, it lights up. We lost it for a second here on the daily. This is actually interesting. We lost this on the daily. It turned gray, and now we're kind of playing around, which is, it's a little bit of a rough call, right? Because, like, sometimes you play around with these moving averages or these EMA ribbons before just breaking through them. So this is kind of a cluster mess. This is like a pretty messy situation here. But sometimes this can give us a clear trend, like you could see, right? You have it all lit up, right? And then as soon as you break the bullish trend, boom, they unhighlight and they come all the way down. And then as soon as you flip them back up, they light up again and you're off to the races. But let me actually undo all this because I don't typically keep these on Market Cipher B. But yeah, I just wanted to see if that would give us a little bit more insight. But let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum real quick here, guys, because Ethereum, you guys know, Ethereum's still doing the same thing as well, right? We're just stuck within this volume profile. For me, I am not, same thing as Chainlink, right? Because Ethereum is also knocking on the door to a value area low. And if you guys watch the channel, as we were peaking up here, I was looking for a pullback, right? Because I'm not going to FOMO long this green candle. As we break into the volume profile, I would much rather a pullback for a better long entry, which we have obviously gotten the pullback. But coming on over to the daily, you could see like Ethereum, it's getting murky waters out there, guys. Murky waters. You got the red dot, the money flow crossover into the red, but now we're just printing a green dot, which is obviously a mixed signal here, right? So we're going to have to see if this confirms, because if this confirms, it's going to be a hard call, right? But really what I would prefer to see here on Ethereum, guys, is going to be a pullback all the way down. Now, I don't know if we're going to pull back right now. However, if we were to come down to these key levels, right, the value area low with the liquidations just below, if we were able to come back down to this level, I would be looking for potential long positions. However, we have to be careful because these long liquidations may be able to give us the fuel to push us below these lows. And if we get down to about $2,050, we could activate a bunch more liquidations, which would cause a bigger liquidation event and bring us all the way down to this previous value area high at about 1930, where we also have that 200-day moving average almost in perfect confluence. So that is going to be kind of where I would be. I would love to come back down to the bottom of the range. We have simply gone from the low to the high. If we break this POC, I would look for a bigger move down closer to $2,100, or closer to about $21,000 to $2,000. And again, if you get these liquidations to occur, you might get that panic wick down to the value area high / 200-day moving average, depending on where that is at the time. Shout out to Chemistry Bro, said no. ETH up, please. Okay, thank you. Up. Yes. Shout out to Chemistry Bro. Yeah, I'll be honest. If you come down here, and again, this daily green dot, like this green dot on the daily is kind of confusing things a little bit, right? Because if you come to the 4 hour, you can see red dot confirmed, money flow still not looking great here. Yeah, I don't know what it is, guys. I have a sneaking suspicion that we could get faked out, right? So you have to be careful. But I will just say, if we did come down here, that may be a lucky move. We could take off from the POC right here, right? Maybe we go test that POC and then break out. However, the main goal here, other than scalp longs, etc., what we're looking for here is a break of the value area low. Now, there is a lot of resistance above, right? You have the golden pocket, you have the 786, you have the previous value area low. However, if you continue up here, like these are major levels of resistance, but what we want to see is we really want to see a flip of the 786 because that will open up the door for ETH to fill the range up to about $3,000. And you guys know, again, if you watch the channel, we put out an ETH video recently that I uploaded at the worst time possible. It's like one of our least viewed videos, but it gives you my full thoughts on my Ethereum analysis and where I think ETH can go in 2024. And potentially we could see that level break and see upwards of $3,000 or even higher, potentially getting closer to, getting closer to some higher levels. I don't want to spoil them all. If you want to see the full thoughts, go check out that Ethereum video. If the mods can drop that video in the chat, that would be super, super helpful. Shout out to Spanky X, says Frankie is the blah, blah. I just licked the microphone. That was kind of weird. Find you another YouTuber that will lick his mic on camera. Shout out to Spanky X though. Frankie is the blah. Frankie's the GOAT. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you. Let's see. You'll find that if you're bullish enough, then it makes sense for ETH to go straight to 3,500. Let's go. I am open to that idea, Ken, bro. I am open to that idea. But yeah, we do have some resistance above, but really the key level here, guys, again, like this is like the rough point of the market, right? Like recently we've just been bored, right? Like this was like, oh my God, are we going to break out? Nah, look for the pullback. Now we're getting the pullback. So yeah, if we were lucky enough to come take out these lows, these liquidations make me think we could take these lows. But, in which case I will look for long positions. But other than that, like we're just in the same situation with Ethereum. Let's see. Shout out to Chief Santana says another question. Frankie Candles, do you see Solana passing up ETH if ETH launches its spot ETF? I don't know. Okay, so it's really, 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 really hard to try to figure out if Solana can pass ETH or if whatever can pass whatever. This is a really hard. This is a really hard call. So my general thought on that is I am bullish on Solana. They are still building. They have built in the bear market. They have a lot of stuff going on. They have the Saga phone. They have all this stuff going on, and I am pretty bullish on Solana. I think it will pump hard in the bull market, but saying it will pass ETH or flip ETH in market cap is, in my opinion, more of a gamble than anything, or just more of like speculation, which is nothing wrong with it. But it's really hard to call, right? It really depends on so many different things. I have my ETH bag. I have my Solana bag. I'm heavier on ETH than I am on Solana. But, ETH has never almost gone to zero before. But yeah, I'm bullish on both projects. I think they'll both do really well. I don't know. I think it'd be hard for Solana to flip ETH, but definitely not impossible. I'm not one of those people that are going to come up here and be like, that's impossible, because that's just simply hard. You can't say that. It's nobody knows 100%. All right, let's see. Bada boom. Let's see. If you're single, don't mention crypto in your bio equals 0 matches, lol. Interesting. Shout out to Pep says, I want to hear what Frankie will say about Jason Casper on this. Pep, what do you mean on this? Shout out to Jason Casper. I don't know exactly what you mean. Let's see. If you wear Frankie's merch, you get as much golden pocket. Hashtag not financial advice. Shout out to Hazard Shot. Yeah, Solana. Shout out to Chemistry Bro. Says Solana has to 6x from here, and ETH do nothing for Solana to pass it. Doesn't seem likely. More likely that ETH passes BTC. Yeah, I think it's an interesting take, Kembro. I would say just like based off of like, if I had to take a random guess, I wouldn't bet my life on Solana passing Ethereum. Like impossible, no. Likely, probably not. But yeah, we'll have to see. Let's see. Shout out to Chemistry Bro, dropping the sauce in the chat. ETH is so much closer to BTC than anything is to ETH. If ETH isn't passing BTC, nothing's passing ETH. I think that's a good way to look at it. Let's see. I just want to make a truck ton of money. Seriously, this is our opportunity, like the old people during the Industrial Revolution, the new billionaires, hopefully, yes. I mean, listen, I think that's already started with the people that have gotten into crypto like way early. But yeah, this is definitely, I mean, there's no other financial assets that you can find that are going to have the moves that crypto has, right? Like it's not everywhere that you're going to even find a 10x, right? Not often in the stock market that you're getting 10x's, right? Crypto, it happens left and right, and we get like crazy stuff, 100x's, 50x's, etc. But let's continue on here. $100 billion equals Dr. Evil. Yes, absolutely. I think once you get to $100 billion, this is why, once you're at like $100 billion, I think it's like you turn into an evil mastermind. I don't think you have a choice. Let's see. Will Link retrace to $16 before another run higher or continue from here? We could take a look. Let's take a look. Jump back into ETH. Let's see. It's hard to say if it will definitely come back to $16. Now, I will say the value area low is sitting at $16.94. So, if we did come down there, it would be very key support. However, if we come on down to something like the 1 hour, you could say we've already tested it, right? Sometimes you'll come down and test it again, but it's really, really, really hard to say if it's going to pull it back all the way down there. One thing I will say is you do have the 4-hour bear div, right? Higher highs on your price, lower highs on your momentum waves. Money flow starting to come out locally here. However, it's not really enough. It's not really enough to be super confident that it's definitely coming back down there. I will say if we get back down there, this is the level to watch, right? Because if you start losing the range again, that wouldn't really be good in my opinion. That would be a much more bearish. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say about that. Very hard to say if it is definitely going to pull back there. I mean, we could take a look at some of the fibs. I mean, you do have a golden pocket 786 retracement from this impulse, but yeah, that was the impulse that broke the previous. Yeah. So, yeah, if we pull, it's not impossible to come back down here. Get a golden pocket, potential 786 retracement again. It's just hard to put a probability on it. So, hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. Shout out to Pep said, yeah, bro, I was watching Frankie's videos a long time ago. Shout out to Pep. And shout out to Boots. He's talking to Boots. Shout out to Boots. Let's see. I bought 5 Solana at 102 price. On last Friday, holding with $30 loss. What to do? Shout out to Kaku. I appreciate you for being here, bro. But let's go ahead and take a look at Solana. If you guys want to see some altcoins, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Rob the Crypto Snob will count up the votes and let us know what we're looking at. Rob, let's look at like 3. Let's take 3 for now. And then Alexander, hopefully that helps you out. I know it's really hard to call, right? And listen, right, I'll tell you this right now. If you ever super chat or get in touch, you're able to reach a content creator in chat and you ask them, hey, will Chainlink go back down to $16? And they tell you with 100% certainty that it will, they're lying to you and they're gambling with your money. So these are the people that you should, in my opinion, stay far, far away from. It's okay to feel confident. Like, hey, very likely we come down here. Like, everyone's entitled to have their opinion. Whether they want to say it's 100% certain or not is up to them. But just understand that nobody knows 100%, right? Like, everybody thought that with the influencers last cycle, right? Like, oh, it's definitely going to 100K. I'm going to trust this random guy on the internet with my money, and then everybody loses their money, right? And I won't do that to my audience. I simply am like the whole point of this YouTube channel is to be completely transparent and honest, and not just try to farm clicks and keep the bullish sentiment because I want more views and it's beneficial for me. My goal is for the CandleMafia to make as much money as possible, and by to do that, I need to be honest with you guys. When I think price is going to pull back, I have to share that information, right? It is in the worst interest of this channel for me to just tell everybody that I know exactly where things are going, because inevitably you're going to be wrong, and then people are going to lose money thinking that someone knows 100% what's going to happen. And if the mafia is losing money, it's not a good long-term plan, right? Like, it just doesn't. It's really bad long-term plan. I don't know why people do that. But you will never get that on this channel. I'll always be 100% honest. I don't know if it's going down to $16. If we did, it's not impossible, right? Because it would just be a simple golden pocket 786 retracement of this impulse. But I can't guarantee it comes down there. And if anyone is, they are literally scamming you. But shout out to Alexander. Hopefully that helps you out. I wish I could give like an easier answer, but it is just the reality of the situation. All right, let's continue on here. Shout out to maybe a Band-Aid said, you believe them just like you believe them yourself though, just like I did. Shout out to maybe a Band-Aid. So I'm probably one of the very, if I watched a lot of YouTube, I don't trust anything that I can't certify myself, right? But that is not the way the rest of the world works, right? Like, people look for someone, especially with financial stuff. Like, this is not financial advice. It never will be financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. No one should ever trust anyone online like that, just with your financial decisions. That's crazy. But, if someone tells me anything about anything online, like, I'm certifying that myself. I am, especially with my money. Like, I'm not, like when the influencer like 100K, and you see a gigantic weekly bear div, it's like sure, maybe 100K. I could be open to that idea. But yeah, definitely can't just like put and people like to do this, right? Because if people lose money, they don't want to accept that it was because of them. So it's much easier to blame it on someone, especially if it's like an influencer that you don't know. It's like so easy to be like, that person told me to hold on. That did not happen to me, but I saw it happen to everybody, right? And that's why you have to have your own plan. And that's kind of why I like the fact that I'm here to protect everybody, right? Like I'm not going to be, and trust that in the bull market, guys, everybody is going to say up only. Oh, yeah, but we have the ETF now. This time's different. Or this happened. This time's different. Could this time be different? Maybe. But just remember, these people get absolutely slapped in the face every single time. So, and if you really think of what influencers are, they're kind of an indicator for the general public, right? At least the ones that the good influencers are looking at real information, right? But like the people who just come into the bull market to capitalize on, thank you, Rob, for those altcoins. The influencers that are just going to come in here in the bull market for the money grab, you guys have to understand, even like you can already see it, right? Like the bull market starting up, there's like a ton of new crypto channels, right? Like everyone's trying to start a crypto YouTube channel, and these people are likely in this for a quick money grab, right? Because they see the opportunity. Hey, if I jump in here, I'm going to be able to get sponsorship, whatever. And these people are going to have initiative and I should say incentive, not initiative. They have incentive to tell you that Bitcoin will go up forever, because if they said it was going down, they're worried that it's going to hurt their views, etc. But that is not my goal. I don't care. My goal is to help you guys make as much money as possible. So, if the influencers like. And then like a lot of those influencers are just a collective announcement of what the retail thinks. Retail thought Bitcoin was going to 100K. If you knew how to read a chart, or you just understood how the market moved, you would be much more skeptical about price going to 100K, right? And if you could talk about on Bitcoin, right? On Bitcoin, even in the bear market, right? Everybody, as we approach this $30,000 level, was saying super cycle, super cycle, super cycle. And when you're looking at the charts and you understand the charts like we do, you're looking at this saying, probably not, right? At this point, we had a weekly blood diamond, which was the first weekly blood diamond that we ever had. This was the first, like, real call that I made publicly on the internet, like, just saying, like, guys, this is bearish. We've lost support. We're bearishly retesting resistance with a blood diamond. This could start a big pullback. And I got toasted in the comments. Everybody hated me. I get why the influencers are like, oh, up only 100K, 200K, $1 million. It's only up. Because when they don't like when the communities don't like it when you say it's going down. I'll tell you that. The mafia just wants the truth because they make money either way. But a lot of people don't want to hear that it's going down. And when I called this blood diamond, guys, everyone roasted me. And then at the bottom, I got a bunch of DMs being like, dude, you saved my life with that blood diamond call, with the call on that before that dump. Everybody thought that this was going to be a super cycle, but with that blood diamond on the weekly, it was and just the timing of the cycle. Another thing you have to understand is the timing of these cycles are eerily alike, right? And when you take a look at our cycle chart here, let me actually get rid of the indicator. When we take a look at this cycle chart, just where we were in the cycle, enough time had gone by for a full bull market to play out and a bear market to begin. Right? Like right on time that bear market started. But people don't like that, right? Like it's not good for views. It's not good for numbers. People hate you when they say it's going down. But I don't care. I'm here to help you guys make money, not get clout, or, just do a quick money grab. So just keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and continue on. Hang on. I saw a couple super chats in here. Shout out to Aussie. I appreciate that super chat. They say, hey, Frankie, love the stream. Can Jasmine hit 60 cents? Thanks, brother. We can take a look at Jasmine, and I can try to give you my thoughts. I don't know if it could hit 60 cents. I'll tell you that right off the bat, but I could tell you if I think it's realistic or not. And then shout out to Ian and Aussie. Thank you for the super chat. Shout out to Ian. Thank you for the super chat. Long time no see, bro. Saw you in the premium. But he said, will Chainlink go down to 16? Tell me with certainty. Shout out to Ian. It's 100% going to $16. If you don't wait to $16, you're an idiot. That's what people literally say. I want to be very clear. That was a joke. That was a joke. I don't know if Chainlink's going to $16. It could. But it's like people will say that like you're stupid if you don't listen to me. I don't know how people do that. I could never. It's because they're gambling. They're literally gambling. But anyway, shout out to you guys for the super chat. Shout out to Morel. Hey, Morel, let's go. Shout out for the 5 Frankie Candles gifted memberships. Let's go. Morel, Thank you for that, bro. We appreciate you. Show more some love in the chat, guys. Shout out to Steven. Thank you for the super chat, Steven. I appreciate you. Says, blessings to everyone around the world. Don't let these dips scare you off. Take advantage. BTC, there is no second best. There is no second best. If you ain't first, you're last. Shout out to Steven. I appreciate you. And Ian with the 10 Frankie Candles memberships. Was that? Oh, that was a goat. Sorry, Ian. Shout out to Ian. Get them those 10 Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go. Shout out to you, bro. Everybody's got a membership now. Let's get it. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and continue on here. Yeah, let's continue on. All right, so let's see what altcoins. All right, so Solana. Let's take a look at Solana. And we will take a look at Jasmine, no problem. And let's pull it up on here. Okay, so Solana, guys, pretty straight and narrow, right? You guys know this is, you can't make it up, right? We looked at this last week. We were getting bounces off the golden pocket. I was not interested just because we were in the middle of the range. This is why I don't really like trading in the middle of a range, guys. And it has like basically everything to do with the fact that the higher probability trades are down at the low of the range or up at the high of the range, right? Now, could you get low time frame scalps to the upside? Sure. You totally could, right? But you have to be trading a lower time frame. And what I would do for that is come down to a lower time frame, right? And then find that trade or find that range within the context of the lower time frame, right? And then I am just trading that local range. Now, obviously, this is to the end of the range, but if you had this range down here, you're essentially looking at, okay, hey, we have a local volume profile, we deviated, but the context of this trade is not hold it to the moon. It's look for the little scalp from the low of the volume profile back in to the POC to the high, right? So that is basically what I would be looking at if I were looking for those scalps. But because I was not looking to scalp Solana, I was simply more comfortable, right? And I didn't take this trade, but I'm just saying I would have been more comfortable, I should say, if we broke down to the value area low of the range. This would be where I took the long. We even put the setup on the actual chart here, and it played out beautifully, right? Looking for the long at the low of the volume profile, looking for it to go to the POC, and then eventually the value area high. Hit it for about 31%. I did not hit it for 31%. Like I said, I did not take the trade, but that setup hit for 31%. And it's not like some magical technique or magical strategy. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a magical technique, but it's not something that you can't do, right? Like this is just very simple, very simple volume profile stuff. Being very patient, sitting on your hands, waiting for the key levels to get hit, waiting for confirmations, and then looking to take the trades, right? And you had 1 hour bullish divergences down here. Your money flow came back up, and then you get the move through the entire range. So with that being said, that's kind of the context of price here. I'm actually going to get rid of this golden pocket. And what happened also, right? The reason this blue box was here, and that blue box was where I would have been looking for a long, is not only is it the value area low, but it also completes your 786 Fibonacci retracement, right? Obviously with confirmations. So I'm going to get rid of these fibs, right? Because they've now been hit. But in that context, basically we're just within this range, right? And actually you can probably argue that you're actually back within this kind of local range, right? So if I pull that, grab our box, right? Extrapolate this volume profile to the right. Bada boom. Well, look at that. Coincidentally, or not coincidentally, we are simply sitting within this area of balance, right? Your high, your PLC, and your low, right? So you're sitting within this local range. So if I were looking for scalps on Solana, maybe I'd be looking for scalps within this local range, right? But for the most part, more in the medium term, we've rejected we kind of front ran this value area high, but we've rejected the highs. We have come back down. The next stop is, based off the volume profile theory, is going to likely be the point of control of the range, sitting at $90, right? But again, depending on what your context is, if you're looking at the local timeframes, you could look for potential scalp longs. But again, understanding that this scalp long, if you were looking for longs here, you are not looking for this to absolutely blast off to higher prices, right? Like you're just looking to trade this as a local range, right? So you're looking for longs at the lows, looking to take profit at the POC and the value area high, not financial advice. But there you go. So without that scalping context, right, and I'm not looking to scalp Solana, so I'm just going to get rid of these. For the most part, I would look in the context of that mini range, look for a move back up to the high. But really, guys, let's come to the daily, right? And remember, obviously, the daily on Solana is also not looking too hot, right? Money flow generally trending to the downside, coming out locally, red dot confirmed. You don't have the bearish divergences that you have on Bitcoin. But again, I would just kind of look to respect this volume profile. If you're looking for the scalps, break down your profile into two profiles, a macro and a local, like we were just looking at. And then actually, if we undo this, let me see if there's any reason to potentially look for a long on Solana here. Because, look at the 4-hour money flow, right? Like, money flow on the 4-hour coming out, money flow on the daily coming out with the bear divs. Like, there's many reasons to be a little bit more sketched out with the longs, and more favorable towards the shorts. So just keep that in mind. Locally, if you're looking at this as like a kind of a micro range, you are approaching the value area low. You could argue that you have bullish divergences, but money flow is not in agreement. I wouldn't be taking this trade. But I'm just saying this is how I would view the market. If I were looking for scalps on Solana, I'd be looking at the range between 101 and about 93.89. And then if I were looking for more longer-term positions, or maybe just looking to pick up some cheap Solana, in the medium term, we could look to return to the POC at $90. And there you go. I mean, that's really what I would be looking at. Let me see this. If we break out of this range, I would be careful of a potential retest of this 786 at $115. So key levels of resistance, value area high, gold to pocket between $107 and $109. 786 sitting at $115. And then if you get above that, we got a lot of resistance above. But your next major level, guys, if you want to see massive, more real upside for Solana, we started knocking on the door here almost to the value area low of the bull market range. And once you flip these levels, really more specifically the point of control at 142, we have a lot of work to do until we get up there. But once you flip these levels, that's where I see Solana going nuts. But right now, I'd be looking at these local levels. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Darren says everything is bearish for now unless, like Frankie says, daily money flow fakes out. Yeah, that is my general thought here, guys. I want to be very clear. We look at a lot of stuff here. We look at a lot of alts. We look at a lot of time frames. We look at the medium term, the short term. I just want to be very clear. I am bearish on the daily. The chances, based off the technicals, of a lower high coming in before more downside, meaning breaking the low at 38.5, this is going to be, once we break 38.5, this is where you look for the more downside. But based off the TA, the lower high coming in on the macro to continue this downtrend down to lower prices is more likely, just based off the technicals. And the only way, like Darren says, right, everything is bearish right now, or the daily is bearish, at least on Bitcoin, very bearish, unless we get a crazy money flow fake out on the daily, which is not common, but definitely has happened many times in the past. So keep that in mind. And again, if we do break out, we have a plan to make money on that move, right? So keep that in mind. All right, let's continue on. Shout out to Aaron with the pickles in the chat. Let's go. Shout out to all the pickles out there. Let's see. Bada boom. Let's see. And then the other thing. Yo, shout out to Mr. Swipe said BTC 47K tomorrow, 7 a.m. My dad is Elon Musk. I know. Shout out to Mr. Swipe. He might actually know. Yeah, and even the 4 hours not really looking that good either. And if we do get a move up, you guys know the local areas of resistance that we're looking at. So let's go ahead and take a look at Theta, which is the next alt on the list. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Boots. All right. So take a look at Theta. We have not looked at Theta in quite some time. I don't even know what these lines are from, so we'll just clear them, and we'll take a look here. So, yeah, I mean, actually, I will say this. The daily, this actually doesn't look as bad as Bitcoin, but it still doesn't look great, right? Money flows crossed over into the red. But let's see here. Let's pull up the VPVR. Bada boom. You know what's funny? I don't remember anybody using the VPVR. And now I feel like everybody uses the VPVR. I'm not saying I invented it. I'm not saying I was the first person to use it by any means at all. But I just feel like I never saw anyone using the VPVR. I was shown the VPVR by a friend. And it became a huge part of my analysis. But I feel like I never saw anybody on YouTube looking at the VPVR. And now everybody uses it. Pretty fire. That's pretty fire. But anyway, I mean, who knows? It doesn't mean they got it from me. But it is interesting. It's like night and day. I feel like everybody looks at the VPVR now. And it used to never be like that. Very interesting. Let's see. Shout out to X Comical said I got it from Lifer. That's funny. Lifer actually said he got it from us. When he came on the show one time, he's like, I used to never look at the VPVR, but I watched your show, dude, and you got me on the VPVR. Shout out to Lifer. So yeah, that's not even what I was talking about, but yeah, I mean, I doubt everyone else found it, but yeah, just interesting. Like, I feel like just all these random people I've never seen on YouTube, it's like VPVR tutorial, and I'm like, so interesting. I like never seen that. Now it's all over the place. Let's see. Bada boom. All right, let's continue on. Taking a look at the 4-hour. Yeah, money flow crossing over into the red. Yeah. And the VWAP also coming down into the red. This is definitely not the best look in my own personal opinion. Take a look at the daily. Let's pull the fixed range. Bada boom. Yeah, I mean, technically, let me see if I can pull up the heat map real quick. Can we get Theta on here? Yeah. Bada boom. We'll take a look at the 3-month. See where the liquidations are sitting. Let's see. Let's see. Hyper was using it. Was using it for a long time. I took interest in it from his show. Hyper, interesting. Let's see. BTC price dropped 2K, and I've immediately get idiots in the chat. Shout out to Mark Dutch. But anyway, continuing on. Let's see. Yeah, so we have more. Let's see. Yeah. Let's go back to the 3-month. Bada boom. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so you have some liquidity down here at 83 cents, which could potentially, here, let's see, 83 cents. Let's come back to the 1 hour. Bada boom, 83. Yeah, so you have a nice little hot spot of liquidity down here below this range. However, come on, volume profile. Do me a favor and work. There we go. So yeah, I mean, we've come to the low, right? We've broken above the POC. We're playing around the POC right now. If you reclaim this POC, that's where you can look for the move up to the high. However, with the money flow crossover into the red on the 4-hour, I would be very careful because this could give us a further move to the downside. 8-hour green dot looking to print, but you have no divs here either, which is kind of a shame, right? Like if you had something like this, right? So you have your low and your higher low, but you have no lower low here. I would rather see a actual divergence here, which we simply don't have. But let's see. Gonna go ahead and yeah. I mean, it's nice. Daily money flow's already in the red here. Yeah, I would take this range, but there really is no trade here for me, just in general. Just kind of just sitting in no man's land right now. But this is the main volume profile I would look for. But I wouldn't really be interested in taking a decent trade until we came back to the low or back up to the high. So shorts at the high, shorts at the longs at the low. Other than that, I'd be letting this thing hash itself out. All right, let's see. Yo, shout out to Osman says, is Golden here? I'm looking for one of those memberships. Shout out to Golden. I don't think Golden is here today. I assume he's out doing something extremely important because I think Golden only does really important stuff. All right, let's see. What is our next altcoin? Is going to be XRP, crowd favorite here. Yeah, here we are. Not too much here to look at on XRP. Now, XRP does look slightly different than Bitcoin as we have been in the red with our money flow here on the daily for quite some time. Red dot is printing. So, my sentiment is exactly the same on XRP, guys, as it has been for quite some time. And that is simply, we are within this volume profile. We've rejected the high back down to the POC. We can't get back above that high. So once we lose this point of control, we could potentially see a bigger move down to the value area low of the range, which, depending on which value area low you're looking at, comes in between 44 and 43 2.5 cents, essentially, right? So key level of support is this point of control. We are like battling for our lives here on XRP, right? At least in the context of this move, right? Just barely holding above that POC. If we wind up losing it, I would look for the next significant move to the downside to bring us potentially down to this value area low, which seemed really far away when we were looking at it a couple weeks ago. But at this point, it is looking more and more, it's getting closer and closer and more likely, or less and less hard to imagine that price coming in, right? But you could also, what I would also be doing here is looking at this local volume profile right here, because we have balance here, right, where we're sitting right now. We may actually respect this range for a little bit. If this daily red dot is not going to break us down big time. Okay, we just printed another daily candle. Daily red dot is being stepped on by a green dot. So just more indecision in the market here. But I would also be looking at this as a volume profile as well. This can give you a little bit extra confluent, or a little bit extra context. POC, value area low, value area high, right? So you can kind of, if you actually hide this, if we hide this volume profile, you can actually look at this as a local range, right? Take a look at the 2 hour, right? So came back down, rejected the high, came back in, back to the low, almost got to the high, and this could be the range that we kind of start respecting, right? Your PLC is sitting right down here. So from the low to the high to the POC, I would look to respect these levels. But overall, guys, of course, if we looked at this 5 minutes ago, it would have been bearish, but now that green dot's printing, but it's not confirmed, right? So we're just very wonked out right now on the price action. But looking in terms of these volume profiles is how I would handle kind of the situation, right? Look to go from the high to the POC, lose the POC, come back down to the low. So there we go. That is what I would look for on XRP. Let's see. When an indicator is anchored at, hang on, 0, it gives false signals. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. What is going on, bro? Let's see. Let's take a look at Jasmy. Quick look at Jasmy. And what was the question that we had on Jasmy? Let's see. Can you take a look at Jasmy? Or let's see. Was it a super chat? It was. Hey, Frankie, love the stream. Can Jasmy hit 60 cents? Thanks, brother. Okay, let's take a look here, right? Well, hey, I don't remember the last time we looked at Jasmy, but we are getting support on our golden pocket value area low, which would be expected. You actually didn't have the value. You didn't have the divergence here. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clear the chart, and can it hit 60 cents? Well, let's see. Where is 60 cents? All right, so let's see. We're going to have to go pretty crazy here. Okay, so this is kind of hard to call, right? Like calling like an all-time high, this takes a little bit more than just like 5 minutes of TA to try to figure out. But what I could tell you is, let's see, assuming that this is all the price action that we have, we'll go to the weekly. I'll clear the chart, right? Yeah, very hard to kind of figure out. One way you can do it, with Bitcoin, I like to do it with spider lines and fib levels. Yeah, it's very, 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 very hard to call here. But yeah, it would basically be a gamble, right? Assuming, let's see, 35 cents. Yeah, it's really hard to say. But what we could do is pull up the VPVR, or the VRVP, as some people call it, which I like to think that they're wrong, but I'm actually wrong. Let's see. All right. Yeah, it doesn't even really give us much. It's kind of hard to say, right? Like, you could pull some fibs and try to see where the come on. Why is that locked? All right, so let's see. 40. Yeah. I mean, just in general, right? Like, if you get a big move up on Jasmy, 31 cents to about 40 cents is going to be a huge target to look for, right? And then just above that, you could look 60. Oh, no, this is 6 cents. Did they say 60 cents or 6 cents? It must have said 6 cents. Hang on one sec. Where is it? Where is it? Where is that super chat? Oh, 60 cents. Yeah. That's hard to say. Very hard to say. There's not really enough price action to kind of do some legitimate analysis on this. The only thing to really do is like to look at your fib levels, which is like, it's kind of hard. You could look at a trend-based fib, but kind of hard to say. It's like just way too far off. It would just be like a random guess. But your weekly money flow is coming up with your money flow. Weekly money flow and your VWAP are coming up, right? So actually, yeah, wouldn't be, let me see here. Let's pull this local range. We do some local TA on this. Let's see. Bull divs at the low. Yeah, I would look for potentially, yeah, you have a little bit of a trigger wave here. Money flow coming out. Very hard to say, guys. It's like no clear setups. Like for the clear setups, like this would be a clear setup, right? If you were deviating below the range. And this is like why most people lose money trading, right? And it's like when you deviate from below this range, right? Like this is where everyone's like, oh my God, short, it's going to zero, it's going to zero. But like this is almost always like why when everybody is screaming for prices to go lower, this is where you look for longs, right? Like even if you don't know why, if you just like went with that mentality, you're gonna win more than you're probably gonna increase your win rate by just counter trading the retail, right? And you can do this by seeing how much emotion people are showing, right? Like when you're when you're on Twitter or YouTube or in chats or whatever, when you see people like getting really emotional about like, you're an idiot, dude, it's going down. That's usually when it's going to go up, right? Like these are the people that can kind of signal the moves. But as we break down here, this is where in my head, based off my strategy, longs are activated, right? Like long mode activated, right? Then you're looking for your confirmations. In this case, you wound up putting in a deviation with lower lows in on your price action with your higher lows on your momentum waves, giving you that bullish divergence. And at that point, right, like I wouldn't just be looking at this to take the trade, but this is a signal that, hey, you might be able to get a move to the upside where I would look to eventually target the value area high while also taking profits at the POC. Stop loss is going to be somewhat subjective depending on your risk tolerance. But we could come down to some of the lower time frames to see, or actually, let's see. 4-hour VWAP coming up. Bullish divergence is about to print, right? This is in bar replay mode, obviously. Snake eyes on the 2-hour. 30-minute money flow was kind of coming up. But yeah, your 15-minute money flow is coming up. And remember, when you have those 4-hour green dots with money flow coming up on the 15-minute, oftentimes that 15-minute money flow crossover into the green is what gives you the bigger move up. So again, this is obviously in hindsight, but I just want to show an example of like when you do have confirmation and a significant trade setup which would be sitting at the lows, right? The fact that you're deviating below the volume profile is why you'd be looking for longs down here. And then the confirmations you would have to find separately, but a little bit of drawdown. At this point, you're looking to get back into the volume profile and again, take profit at the POC and then eventually look for a move to the value area high. And extend the volume profile. And you can see, hit that POC. So that would be TP1 for 11% profit. And then you can take profit, move your stop loss to your entry, or even into profit, depending on your style, right? But break even, right? This is a guaranteed risk-free trade. And then if price comes up to the value area high, this would be the final take profit. And then you can maybe hold a moon bag for higher. But I think that's all that really happened. I think that's the highest we went. Actually, we went higher than we thought, right? So you would have actually gotten a little bit more gains on this. You didn't get to the value area high, but the final target would be the value area high for that trade. But that's more of a sound setup than what we're seeing right here. Why would I not be looking to trade this? Well, simply put, we're at the POC of the range. I don't trade the middle of the range. I would rather wait for ideally a long entry below the range, or even if you wanted to try to find another entry, you can even wait for the reclaim of the value area low before actually getting into a long position, right? So you would have had a chance to enter here from the low to the POC, and then you had another chance to enter here from the low to the POC, and then a little bit higher. And then if you pulled some local ranges, you could even break this down further, and you can look at this as more of a local range. But that's kind of what I would be looking at on Jasmine. Again, hard to say if it goes to 60 cents. It's a little bit far off. But you guys are funny, man. Nostrils USDT. Okay. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Maybe a Band-Aid said, never forget, if you're looking at a chart on a time frame, don't expect a lower time frame to respond to your move. Shout out to maybe a Band-Aid. Let's go. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Osman says his whole thing was the spoke crazy fast, the Micro Machine guy. Who is the Micro Machine guy? Should I Google the Micro Machine guy? Let's do Micro Machine guy versus, what is Micro Machine guy? We could talk fast. Are you guys telling me Micro Machine guy talks fast? Because I could talk really fast. And, like, honestly, if I could ramp up, I could talk even faster. I'm from New York. I talk fast naturally. If I try to talk fast, I could talk really fast. Should we? Oh, Mrs. Candles in the chat. Let's go. Look at me, Mrs. Candles. I'm just working. I'm not partying. We're just hanging out here, just doing work normal. I'm behaving myself. If you guys didn't know, Mrs. Candles is out of town for the week. I miss Mrs. Candles. Dr. Crimson's girlfriend said, I'm too young. I assume the Micro Machines guy is like the little car. Like, I guess the commercial guy maybe talks fast. That's my guess. There's the Mrs. Candles hands in the chat. Let's go. You guys are too much. Shout out to TradeMate says, local TNA activity activates the long. Shout out to TradeMate. But guys, that's what we're looking at on Jasmine. That's what I'd be keeping an eye on. I'd be watching this local range, and to me, there's no trade. The trade was down here or here or here. To me, the next trade wouldn't be until we came back to the low or up to the value area high. So, guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. Those are the altcoins, plus the bonus of Jasmine. But those are the altcoins. Watch out for Bitcoin, guys. Again, very bearish on the daily. Again, looking for a potential short-term move to the upside into those next key levels of resistance where I will be looking for bigger short positions. However, overall, on the daily time frame, the daily is very bearish in my opinion. And like Darren Does Things said, I don't really see a way that we can rip through those yearly highs unless we get a complete money flow fake out, which, again, is not common, but not impossible. So, with all that being said, shout out to the CandleMafia. Thank you all for sticking around to the end of the stream. Spam those Mrs. Candles hands in the chat while we sign off here. But again, smash that like button if you like Mrs. Candles hands. And shout out to Mrs. Candles. Thank you for stopping by. Smash that like button, guys. We will be spinning the wheel on Friday. 550 likes on today's live stream. I don't know what we're at right now. I can't see them, but we will be giving away 3 hats if we hit 550 on the likes. And with all that being said, shout out to the Mafia. Thank y'all for hanging out to the end of the stream, and we'll see you here tomorrow, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bye! Bing bong. What was that?
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve. Shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect. Let them watch me elevating. Got them nauseous cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house and whoo. Watch how I get it here. Watch how I get it here. Watch how I get it here. Watch how I set it up. Bet you I shut it down. Watch how I get a win. I don't think they really wanna come against the winner. Got a finger run up in on a grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you compare. I'm aligned with the winner about the cage. I need all the wins. Yeah. Ain't no L's. I gotta get it. No call it quits. Yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets. Yeah. Better move out the way cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move. You might get knocked out. Knocked out. Better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
Yeah, hey, babe. Yeah, thanks for stopping by the stream. Yeah, I know it's really funny that we're talking about us talking really fast. I literally know I literally talk this fast, just normal. I actually slow it down for the live stream. It's I know it's super funny. When I saw you pop in, I was like, oh my god, she's here. Oh my god. Yeah, I know. I miss you too. Yeah, yeah. No, we're just hanging out. It's like a typical day at work. Yeah, no, it's like really boring. It's really quiet without you. Like more quiet than I would have realized. We're never apart from each other. Super weird. But anyway, all right, I gotta go get some stuff on. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye. Oh, what's going on, guys? Sorry, did you see? I told you, guys, I talk fast naturally. Even when I'm not on camera, I still talk this fast. It's just a part of my blood. I actually have to slow it down a little bit. But, you know, Mrs. Candles is used to listening to me at 100 miles an hour. But with all that being said, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. Asa pasa. So I got Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor.